Item 10C, adopt a resolution approving template bylaws for city boards, commissions, and committees.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. It should come as no surprise that the City Attorney's Office often receives requests to prepare and revise legal documents. That's one of the main things we're here for. Sometimes they're contracts, sometimes there's policies and procedures, but every time what we try to do is evaluate whether this is a one-time thing, should the changes just be made in this particular document, are we just creating something for one-time use, or are we doing something that might affect a wide variety of circumstances, a wide variety of conditions. So often that balance is trying to resolve an immediate issue that somebody might bring to the City Attorney's Office so their particular project or initiative can proceed. We balance that against not having to reinvent the wheel every single time the same issue comes up in the future. And so our goal has always been to try to do both as much as possible. The Commission bylaws, the item on your agenda tonight, is a good example of that. Several department heads approached me over the last three months to revise the bylaws for their particular commissions. And after reviewing those and noting that they were different in some respects, we decided to tackle the project of creating a template that would then apply to all of the boards, committees, and commissions. So everybody could use that same template. So as you know, all of the boards and commissions are advisory to the City Council, except in some cases the Planning Commission, where they're independently allowed to make certain decisions. And those boards and commissions do work at the pleasure of the City Council. Some have specific municipal code sections that govern their activities, and others don't, for example. So what we did is we compiled all of the bylaws from all the boards and commissions, paired them up with all of their code sections, all 9 of them, and compared them with an existing template that was prepared by your former city attorney in 2004. So there was an existing template that was used. That was the last time the template was revised, but since 2004, you've seen some revisions to some of the bylaws, but not all of them. So for example, the Planning Commission didn't update their bylaws, where some other commissions did. So when we looked through all of them, and I'd like to acknowledge my legal secretary, Vi Weber's help for that, we prepared a binder with all of that information and looked at preserving all of the key features of the template that was in 2004, then bringing that forward and updating everything so that it's consistent with current law, and then making sure that everybody can use the same template with just modifications about, how many people are on the board or commission, or what their duties are, either in the municipal code or by resolution. So the template that you have in front of you keeps all the key provisions from before, like vacancies, appointments, those kinds of things. Standardizes all the procedures. The Planning Commission's a little different because they have public hearings and they have an architectural review commission. The Senior Citizens Advisory Commission's different because you don't appoint their members. But aside from those, the template will be adjusted for each of those individual commissions so that they can have their own new set of templates. So if it's approved tonight, I'll work with all those boards and commissions to make sure they have their own brand new set of template bylaws that are all consistent and all the same where they need to be and different only where required. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Good. Any questions for our city attorney? Rico?
Through the chair. So again, it is a template, but based on the needs of that committee, commission, or board, it can be tweaked. The only reason I bring it up, I know we talked about terms of chair and vice chair. In this, for an example, and it said, okay, it's 1-year term, and then which may be what we should do. But I know, just for example, on the Park and Rec Commission, they re-elected their chair to a second consecutive term. So does that mean they have to follow this, or can that be again as a template, and then they can give direction as they feel is
No,
needed?
that's a good question. The answer to the general question is yes, we can have tweaks based on their what's in the code or what their practices have been. But I will point out on that particular thing, that's actually okay. It wouldn't be a violation of this, because what this says is that the chair and vice chair can actually serve for more than one term. So that's okay if they want to do that. It wouldn't be prohibited. So we've tried to retain that flexibility where it seemed important to do so.
One moment. Anyone else in the council?
Through the
Michael?
chair, thank you. Mark, you said you reviewed the references in the municipal code, but when I went through and looked, and I did this actually a while ago, I didn't see every single committee referenced in the municipal code, and I'm wondering, is that something that we need to fix? Do we have to reference them in the municipal code, or is that?
You're correct, they're not all in there, and they do not all need to be in there. In fact, aside from the planning commission, it's somewhat uncommon among cities to have them in the code, but they're there, so we didn't see any harm to leaving them there.
Okay.
But on the other hand, don't see any particular reason to include any others unless you do.
Okay. No, just wondering. Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else in the council? Mr. Rico?
Robert Rico, I'm currently the chair of the crime prevention. I did read over the template. I just had two areas that I would like at some point, maybe some consideration. It talks about the secretary of the committees, and it leads me to believe that it is somebody from the city. And secondly, it talks about the meetings need to be recorded. Is that something that each of the committees is going to need to be able to do? I don't need an answer, but those were
Good questions.
two top items that hit me.
Thank you, I'll take a look at that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any action by the council?
I'll adopt the resolution.
Councilmember Ibera.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.